side, right? You've got this idea that is very complicated to execute, right? OFAC had to put out a big matrix and 12 pages of guidance to inform people how this was going to work. This price cap scheme, in my estimation, is too complicated to function effectively to meet both of those goals, right? Some product will fall off the market potentially, and they may not. It's going to be easy to cheat, right? There is an unregulated sector that is essentially the front line of compliance for this. The people who are responsible for getting information and ascertaining whether it meets the price cap threshold are oil brokers and traders, which many of them have checkered compliance histories. And it's, again, unregulated, right? If you had a banking system or the insurance sector, both of which are regulated in major Western economies, you might be talking about a different set of kind of regulatory, controls over all of this. All that said, if it doesn't work perfectly, that may not matter in the long run, which is like, this is always the weirdest thing, because mechanically as a policy, I think it's clunky, it's overcomplicated, and I think it's just not going to function effectively in what is a kind of very fluid and opaque market to begin with. But it may not matter, right? If, as you say, right, the Russian Urals is trading at well below the price cap that the Europeans are setting, then Putin can keep selling oil. He can say, he's not, adhering to the price cap, and he won't sell to anybody who does it. Countries like India and China and others can buy that oil under the price cap, and Russian revenues are down. And so it's a very weird, it's almost a bit of a kabuki dance, to be honest. That the way this is kind of shaping up, I think I have all these kind of challenges in my own head about the implementation, the implementability of this policy. But at the end of the day, it may not matter at all,
because the price of oil is falling anyway, and that will slash some of the Russian budget funding arms regardless.
Yeah, I think, and this is the funny part about this, right? As kind of overcomplicated of a policy as this is, all that Washington needs to point to is reduced Russian revenues to say that it works. They can spin a story like that, even if it has nothing to do with the price cap, right? If it has all to do with market forces, all they have to do is point to essentially two things, right? One, reduce prices at the pump for American consumers. And there's some questions about whether they care sufficiently about European consumers as well, although I think they do. And two, reduced revenues to the Kremlin.